What's going on, everybody? Tanner with another video. Hope you're all having a great day. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys a 3-part method on how to fund your business idea with real money. Now, there's more than just money to taking a business idea to a real life business, but you just don't want to be the idea guy. Everybody can come up with ideas, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. But what's uncommon is for people to actually take action on the ideas they have, whether starting a business or just following a simple action that they had in their mind, earlier in the day. Taking action is something that's hard for a lot of people to do. Right now, it's sort of late. Maybe I didn't really want to film this YouTube video, but I knew it was something that I had an idea for. And if I didn't let it stay fresh in my mind, then I would eventually forget about it. So I knew I wanted to film this video. I planned it out, and now I'm making it happen. Now, this isn't a full out business. This is just a YouTube video idea, but this is going to be a 3-part method on a strategy that I've used to take my business ideas to an actual reality. So let's go ahead and just get into the first part that we're going to talk about, which is going to be realizing your position. That's going to be first off, financially. I get lots of DMs, a lot of people ask me for money, which, most people think that's weird and very rude to ask somebody else for money. But people see me, they think I'm made of money, I'm a billionaire, whatever. No, that is not the case. That is not me. I'm not made of money. I can't just hand out $1,000 here, $10,000 there. I can't do that. I'm not at that point. And even if I was a billionaire, I don't think I'd just be handing out random sums of money for no specific reason. There's just no point to it, because most people that are asking for money usually either A, aren't going to do anything good with it, or B, are just going to lose it instantly because they're not focusing on what's important when it comes to a business. They just think you have to have enough money to start, and then that's it. You're successful. You're good to go. But that is not the case. So first off, realize your position. Realize where you are at financially. Maybe you're making $1,000 a month. Maybe you're a younger kid. You're only making, nothing. Maybe you just get allowance from your parents. But some of you may be grown adults who have a solid income that's coming in every single month. So first step is just going to be realizing that. Now, these 3 parts we're going to be going over, I want you to keep track of everything I'm telling you about. I want you to write in a Google Doc, on a notebook, paper, whatever it is. First off, realize your position. How much are you making a month? How much are you making a week? This is just the financial aspect of it. And B is going to be mentally. Are you in a space where you have the time and the capability to actually go and start a business, or are you just going to half-ass it and not really take it seriously? If you don't have the mental capability to start something and finish it, then it's not worth your time or money even just getting into it from the beginning. Maybe you'll learn a little something, but if you're not going to go all in, then it's not going to be worth it at the end. So quick overview. Number 1, before we go to the second step, realize your position financially and mentally. Write it down. How much are you making a week? And are you actually prepared to start a business? Is something that you actually want to go and do? Now, step number 2 is going to be determining what venture you want to get into. Now, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using dropshipping as an example, because that's sort of what my channel was started and based around from the beginning. And a lot of you wonder about dropshipping and what it is. So I want to use that as an example, but determine what venture, using venture as a term of business. What business do you actually want to get into? For me, I've always had trouble focusing just on one thing at a time. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing, because 1, I'm learning a bunch of different things, but at the same time, I'm never really reaching my full potential because I'm not putting all my effort into one single thing. By spreading my efforts into multiple ventures, I'm not going to reach a, great amount of accomplishment and success as if I would put all of that effort combined into one single thing and just completed it. So for my advice, don't be like me. Figure out that one thing that you want to take action on so we can go all in and make it happen. Now, the first thing you have to do is realize, what is the cost of barrier entry to start that business? For dropshipping, for example, I would recommend like $500 to $1,000 or more, just an ad spend to start up, just so you're able to test and figure out what works and what doesn't. Because dropshipping is not something that's as easy as it sounds for most people. It's not something where you just go, you put in $10 and make $100 back. That's not how it is. It's not as easy as it seems. It's a legitimate business where you actually have to put in work, you have to put in money, and you're taking a risk. Any business that's legitimate takes risks. So what I want you to do right now is, on that notebook paper, on that Google Doc, whatever it is, write down what is the cost of barrier entry to get into this business. For dropshipping, I'm going to write down a little checklist. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to have to pay for a Shopify plan that's automatically $30 a month. I want these apps that combines to $50 a month. I'm going to have $500 a month for ads. I'm also going to have to see how much time do I have to put into this. Like I said, at the first step, you have to be prepared for this. Business is not something you just can't half-ass. You have to go all in or you're all out. And now, after you have all those necessities written down, you know how much it's going to cost to get into that business. We need to figure out, all right, what skill sets do I need to know to be successful in this business? So, for example, drop shipping, you're going to need to know how to find products, how to test products, and how to take products to the next level, how to build an online store, a little bit of design and stuff. Of course, you can pay other people to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but for the first time, I would recommend you learn how to do all this stuff by yourself, because you're going to learn these skill sets and they can be applicable to a lot of different online businesses. If you know how to build an online store, how to sell a product through Facebook ads, and you do it properly and on a high scale, then that's an asset that you can apply to any online business, selling any product or service, which will help you a lot in the long term. It's not just the vision of a dropshipping store, it's the vision of a brand and of an entire lifespan of making money on the internet. So again, get your paper, get your Google Doc, write down what you need to know before you actually get in there. Maybe you need to watch videos on how to find products. If I see someone over here showing it to find products this way, and then someone over here is saying it to do this way, which way is the right way? Now, both ways could be correct. Everybody has their own methods of doing things in the business world. And now I know we're talking about dropshipping here, but I want to relate this to an overall business perspective. There's a lot of different ways to do things in each business category, just overall. And the thing is, there's no correct answer that's 100% guaranteed to work for anybody. That's just how it is. In dropshipping, I may do something that works for me, and it may not give you the exact same result if you copy me exactly, because I already have my positioning where I'm utilizing that method. And now, the third part, one of the most important parts when it comes to actually starting a business, one thing that holds a lot of people back from business is money. And that's why a lot of people fail also, which we'll get into in a second. So the financials of everything are tough when it comes to business. For people that have a family and have to provide for people, it's tough putting up a financial risk, and that's why a lot of people live the rat race their entire life. But if you're young, if you're like me, I'm 18 years old. When I started doing this stuff, I was 13. I was under my parents' roof. If you're still living under your parents' roof, this is the best time for you. Why are you not utilizing and taking advantage of the opportunity to start a business? If you're in high school, like example for me, or I was in middle school when I first started, but if you take a risk to start a business in high school and it fails and you lose all the money that you invested into it, or something happens and you're just not interested anymore, you're just stuck being a normal high school kid again. That's it. You're stuck being a normal high school kid again, living with your parents, doing the same mold, and then you can go on to the next business venture and either keep going in the same one you were, that you failed in, or you can go on to the next one. That's the thing about being young and being under your parents' roof, is that you have the advantage, well, at least most kids, the ability to utilize that resource. If you're providing for a family, you don't want to take that risk because you're scared you're not going to be able to buy stuff for your kids. And that's something that you need to do as a family. But if you're really serious about it, you want to go all in, you're going to figure out a way to accomplish both of those things, whether you want to or not. If it's a necessity, you're going to figure out how to do it, when it's going to get done, and 99% of the time, you're going to have to sacrifice things. Sleep, money, time with your kids. A lot of big business people I've talked to that are a little bit older, they say one thing they had to sacrifice was seeing their kids grow up. You know, they had the wife take care of the kids and they were just focused on business and this and that and making the money so they could be financially free in the long run. So step number 3, we need to create a plan to achieve success in whatever business venture that you selected. And what's the first part of that? Gaining capital. You're gonna have an X amount of money to get started. Whatever you wrote down in the second part about getting into the barrier entry, what is the checklist of how much you're gonna have to spend total to invest? That's what you have to raise. And now usually I would say to aim more for that, but how are you actually gonna gain capital? A lot of people get into dropshipping and they fail because they put in $100 and instantly lose it because they're impatient or they lost it fair and square and they just thought, $100, why am I not successful? You could spend $1,000. I've seen people spend $10,000 and not be successful. But of course, there's multiple variables that come into role for every single person's situation. Now, if you're 16 years old or older and you can get a job, get a job. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to own a business that bad, then you're going to sacrifice something. Maybe it'll hurt your ego working a job because you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to live that lifestyle, but you can't live that lifestyle without sacrificing something. If you have to sacrifice some of your ego to get a job, get a job. Who cares? Nobody truly cares if you have a job or not. If you're working at a job and you hate it, so what? You get it done. You make the money you need to make. You have enough to start this business. You get into the business and you make it happen no matter what. And you're going to keep that job. You're not just going to get a job and keep making that amount of money until you have enough to start the business. You're going to keep going. You're going to have to figure out how to manage your time, even if you're in school, because maybe you start a business, you raise enough money from the job and you lose that money. But if you really, really want to win, you're going to keep going because let's say you save up enough money from that job, you start, you lose all that money and you don't start again. You just stay there, you failed, and you don't get back up. Where you at? You're just working that job again. You're just going to keep making money from that job and going to the job and doing the same thing over and over. That's why most people probably aren't very, very successful, because they live the rat race. Some people enjoy it, some people don't. And the fact is, a majority of people don't enjoy the rat race. They wish they could live the luxury lifestyle and travel and cars, whatever. It's really just about the freedom. And that's something a lot of people don't achieve in their lifetime because they fear risk and losing money instead of how can I make enough money to afford my living situation right now and invest into this business to get to where I want to be. Even if you can't get a job, you're not old enough, I'd recommend the simple stuff like I did. Mowing lawns. It's manual labor. It's not fun. It's not year round for most places, but it's money. If you make 20 bucks per lawn, you go out and mow 3 lawns a day, 60 bucks a day, that's just profit. You're getting cash from people usually, or a check or something like that. Then you're going to be able to raise money for these business ventures pretty soon. I mean, these business ventures we talked about in step number 2, determining what venture you're going to choose and only choosing one. Most of the time, you can't choose something that's going to be like a $100,000 investment or $200,000 investment, like opening up a McDonald's chain, which actually costs like $1 million or something like that, because that's way more money. That's higher up in the line. You have to start with the business as a low barrier entry most of the time because of the money you need necessary to get there. Unless you have some kind of investors that's sort of like a capital firm and you have a really, really good idea and you think people will actually want to buy it. And if the investors have the experience and believe in it, then you can get the money behind it. Now, I'm sort of talking about this whole video in the form of a small scale business idea like drop shipping or affiliate marketing or Amazon FBA or things like that that require a few $1,000s, but it's nothing significant that is unattainable in a short amount of time. So the second thing you're going to need to do when creating your plan to achieve success within the business is comparing the successful people versus the non-successful people. Looking at what you see on social media, what you see on YouTube, what you see people talking about. Maybe you have some friends that do similar things. You could say, all right, this person right here, John, he is successful with dropshipping. Now, why is that? I know he failed for the first 6 months, but he ended up succeeding. Now, this is actually sort of like a real true story. My friend Hagen, he bought my first ever dropshipping course that I came out with in January of 2018. And he was failing consistently. He kept falling on his face and losing money. And I remember just seeing it. I was trying to help him see what was going on. And fast forward a year later, he's doing $50,000 or more revenue a month with about 20 to 30% profit margins because he stayed consistent and he focused on it. And that just goes to show you what consistency and determination can do in one single business and putting all your effort into one single venture instead of trying to spread it into multiple things. Most people, comparing it to the unsuccessful tendencies of people in the business, you may look at dropshipping and see, all right, dropshipping is very popular, but it gets a bad rep. And why is that? Most of the time, it's going to be because people fail spending 50 to 100 bucks or some kind of small investment, and they don't take their time and they lose it, and then they just get pissed off at themselves and they lose, and that's that. And they go back to working their job like we talked about a little bit earlier. If you fail once and just don't put any more work into it, you're done. That's it. I mean, not everybody's made for business, but if you really believe in it and you really want to achieve that success, you'll figure out a way to do it no matter what. And the second to last thing I want to talk about when creating your plan to success is going to be fall on your face. I know I've been talking about this and the whole big spiel of things, but fall on your face a few times and fail before you invest into something to cut your learning curve. Now, that comes into place in the last thing I want to talk about, cutting your learning curve. That may be buying a course from someone. Courses are made to help cut the learning curve by providing information in an easy-to-watch form and seeing a real-life experience of how a store was taken from this to this, or how to perform this simple action of running this ad, and how much we made off of spending this much using this strategy, whatever it is. You're able to see real-life examples of people that have done it already. But by falling on your face before investing into something like that, you're going to be able to realize what it's actually like. Because if you're just going to spending money on some kind of knowledge tool, mentorship, courses, whatever, most of the time people aren't going to take it seriously because they don't know what it's actually like. Or they are going to take it serious, but they're going to fall on their face and then they're going to get mad and then they're going to be pissed at whoever they bought the course or the mentorship from. I suggest falling on your face first. It's a realization. You realize it's not that easy. And then even with the course, it's not 100% guaranteed success with anybody's course. It doesn't matter if it's from the best dropshipper in the world or if it's from me. Nobody can guarantee success. Nobody has a proven formula. There's no secret buttons. It's literally just hard work, determination, and analyzing results and devising a plan to get to the next level. So my simple formula to becoming successful in any business is going to be simple things. You're going to have to raise capital. You're going to have to invest into the business, into yourself. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to fall on your face. And you're going to then see results. Once you start to see results, you're going to have to reinvest those profits. If you're making profits, it takes a while, but if you stay determined, you will see profits eventually. That's just how it is. You get out what you put in. So once you start to see profits, a lot of people fall off because they take those profits and put them somewhere, either in the bank, they spend it on something instead of reinvesting it. If you work so hard to get to a specific point where you're actually just making profit instead of losing money or breaking even, that's a whole new level. And if you don't start reinvesting that, then you're not going to see growth. If you get to a point where you're making profit and you start to reinvest it, then you're going to see exponential growth, but you don't want to let it fall off. So that's my take on this video, guys. How to fund your business idea with real money, both physically and mentally. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.